Facebook?
Okay,
I think we're on.
I think we're on too. Let me go to Facebook and check.
Everybody got their speakers on?
Facebook says the city of Granger is live, so I'm pretty sure we're live.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay, let's go and call this meeting to order.
Okay, Bermal, Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak,
Yes.
Hall,
Yep.
Schreier.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Schreier,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak.
Yes.
Okay, discussion on proposed property tax levy rate.
I'll let Chrissy go over some of the details, but in a nutshell, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of the landscape or the portrait document, 15.21728, that is a slight drop from last year. So not a significant drop, but we are balancing the budget with a lower levy rate, consolidated levy rate on the city than last year. And I'll let Christy go over some of the
Yeah,
details.
so in your packet, I hopefully you kind of understood my spread, that document that I sent you
Yep.
guys to kind of give you some background on the rollback and how that works and how we're capped at 3% and due to our growth. And I also put this in the packet, just kind of broke it down a little bit to kind of show you what those numbers mean. But as you can see, we are levying general fund at the limit at the 8.01678. That's that first number. And then we also levy for property, liability, property cat insurance. And that is at 115. Our insurance came in at like 136 in that range. The rest comes from water and sewer. He breaks it down by department. So water would be your water plant, and water towers, and sewer your sewer plant. So that portion is not certified on here. That comes from water rates and sewer rates. And then we did ag land at the maximum of the 3.00375%. And then the other items that we levy is our employee benefits, so FICA and IPERS and other employee benefits, which is your health insurance, is included in there. And part of that portion is 35% of that is, we usually use lost for part of that for FICA and IPERS and health insurance. Due to our resolution on our lost, we can use anything that'll help with property tax relief or parks or infrastructures or anything like that. So that's what we've been using. We've been using a portion of lost to help with employee benefits. And then the last item is our debt, and that is, I gave you a long-term debt schedule. It's got all our current debt on there. And that is what comes up to that number at the end there, that 15.21728, which we've pretty much tried to stay in line with previous years.
Yep.
And you can see our debt kind of went up from 26, and we were still able to keep it in line, but I think it's because our general fund kind of increased a little bit there.
Yeah, and that debt piece is the projects for.
Yeah.
Any questions on, and this reflects the process you went through with the departments and balancing and looking at, it rolls from all those line items up to all these summarized numbers.
And there's other things on that you can certify, but a lot of it needs to be voted on, or it just doesn't pertain to Granger. So
It is worth acknowledging the $3, the $3 per thousand on ag land. Slightly cheaper to be ag land in city limits than out of city limits. I mean, it's not a significant amount, but it you know, when we did receive a lot of those voluntary annexation documents, the landowners had asked, you know, on my crop ground, what's the difference? And it's nothing significant, but it is cheaper inside corporate limits.
Just to confirm again, the rate on the right-hand side's per 1,000, right?
Yeah. So if you look at your consolidated tax bill in town, you know, if you have a $45, $46 per thousand rate, we're $15 of that. So you'd have the county, you'd have the school system, and some other small items in there, but so we by far don't make up the majority of that tax bill.
What was the rate last year?
It's in your packet.
15.23, so we're, okay.
Yeah, nothing significant, but
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's worth acknowledging that, you know, the work that you're doing and the staff is doing, we're accomplishing our growth without doing these projects without raising taxes. Now, that doesn't mean their tax bill hasn't increased.
Right.
Because that assessment and stuff that the county levies,
Yeah.
you know, they can be assessing more. We're not asking for more on our levy rate. And our philosophy is, as a community, we want to grow and increase, whether that's homes, commercial, businesses, industry. We want to keep bringing them on board as demand for services increases. Our goal is to continue to increase the economic profile that keeps us from having to ask for more on the taxes. And our goal is to actually lower that.
Yeah, when you talk about that 3% cap, or the state's got that 3% cap what we can use.
Yeah.
If we were to get that census in a few years, let's say it was at 2,000, does that impact us at all?
That will help road use tax.
Road use tax?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that shows the remaining balance on these notes?
On the debt service schedule?
So go to the next page, and then it's got all there should be 11 loans in there. The last two, though, the two new ones that we just approved, they're probably gonna, I just used what they had, the amortization schedule finalized on those last two, obviously, but I put in there what I received so far. And I'm assuming that it'll change. Otherwise, the other ones are all finalized.
Well, we're paying off this one police vehicle, right?
So the 26 is on there, and then 27 is on there.
That was gonna be my discussion point, is, it doesn't move the needle very much, but if we just pay the $9,600 off or whatever it is on the truck,
Just get rid of it.
and we're talking about like 5.21 down to
If you want to
5.19
certify
or something
that,
like
so
that.
what you're saying is pay 2 payments on here instead of one?
Yeah,
Get
just get it
paid off?
going. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that number would be. I'd have to calculate it, but.
I guess I thought that was part of the agreement when we talked about buying the other truck, was we were just gonna clean up that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I just remember that being part of the conversation. I don't know if it ever landed on yes, that's what we're doing, or what. Is there any others that we can hammer on?
I think that's something we can look at as we go through that capital improvement meetings. And we're talking about scheduling times to meet with departments and look at their asset sheets. And what's the age, what's the turnover, when would they like to replace it? When does it have to be replaced based upon state law or certification? And then we look at our debt schedule at that time and say, okay, can we accelerate some of this based upon what we can project our turnover rate will need to be? And then look at that debt schedule and accelerate some of it.
And those capital improvement meetings would also give us an opportunity to find out what these different departments' priorities would be.
Correct.
So that we can kind of map out what we have coming up and what we might want to work
Yep.
towards over the next number of years, correct?
And then the council will set that priority.
Okay.
Yeah, so you may have competing needs, but you'll look at that and say, okay, is this a need or is this a recommended update? And then you'll set that priority.
We have a couple water sewer that are about ready to fall off, but those come from water sewer rates. And he does have some money cushioned in at least sewer anyway, but it's not gonna help it's not gonna help this number, because it's
I
based.
don't really, I guess yeah, that number doesn't bother me. I'm just
Yeah.
saying from a financial standpoint, if you're not paying interest, you're better off. So if we got
Right.
some cash laying around in any buckets, clean it up, I guess.
I think we should go, when we go have those asset meetings, have those discussions, we can get, then we can project what might our demand be for department and then go through that debt schedule. And, we're blessed with not a lot of debt, water and sewer are, lengthy, but we can take a look at that.
Yeah, definitely, because if we've got the public safety building, coming down the pike at some point, we're going to want to make sure that we have room for that as well.
Yep, yep.
Are all the interest rates the same on all this debt, or they all vary?
They all vary.
They're going to vary.
Is it possible to get the percentages?
Mm-hmm. Not here, but I will get that.
Majority of the debt is serviced with EVAC, right? Just right here in town? Yeah.
Yeah. Iowa Finance Authority and then
Yeah.
E-Bank.
Yep.
Any other questions on any of that or action?
Are you
need?
interested, at least looking to see what the rate would be if I add that truck on there and get it paid off next year, or you want to pay it off this year? Because if we pay it off this year, that's going to have to come from lost.
My
Because I don't
recommendation,
have it certified, obviously, to pay it off with debt service, if that makes sense.
What about the grant that we just got?
yeah, he's going to talk about that tonight. I could get your feedback on that. Venture to say it needs to go to something additional in the grant wording, but I'd let them answer that.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you. You want to see what that number is?
I'd be curious, yeah.
Yeah.
They're paying enough now compared to
What action do you need? I just want to make sure you have the action that you need to proceed tonight.
Yeah, so it's gonna change that rate if I do add that other truck payment on there, and see what that is. And I can send that out to you after I, put that number in there. And then,
Does it really change it though? Because we're putting down X amount on the new one, right? And then turn around and just pay off that with,
I mean, we can investigate that. What she's asking is, does she need to include it on the debt service side to add to
Right.
this, which will change those numbers slightly.
Because I'm putting the whole payment on here instead of just the payment due
Oh.
at 27.
But we could, if you're saying, can we come up with other funds to absorb that somewhere?
Certainly.
We can research that and do that.
Yeah,
That would allow us to not change the document we have tonight.
correct. We could still have the 27 payment on there, and then I can reimburse, if we want to pay it off at the end of this year, we certainly can. I could just use debt service to pay whatever fund back, if that makes any sense.
Because we roll number what, 200,000-ish?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 350-ish of lost left.
I'd have to look at that, but yeah, at least.
Can we just pull the 10 grand out of lost and just make your life easy and
Mm-hmm.
just get rid of it? And
Yeah,
start chipping away at these small ones?
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Certainly can.
Yeah, I think if we're definitely going down the road of getting a new police vehicle, if we can get that one paid off with as little or no impact to this 15.21, that, I would like to see that.
We can do that outside of this process.
Yeah.
Keep the document as it is and
Yep, yep.
do that internally through the budget process.
Perfect.
That's all I had.
Yep.
So,
Any other
yeah.
questions on that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Didn't take as long as I thought. I didn't know if anybody would have questions, because I know this is kind of the first time a lot of you seeing this process, so.
No, I think the document you put together to explain it was
Good.
extremely helpful.
Good.
Well, if everybody's good, I guess I'll make a motion to set a public hearing on the proposed tax levy for April 1st, 2026 at 7 PM.
Second.
Okay, Shyak,
Yes.
Chuchak?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Okay,
Adjourn
this
and then
meeting's
take a
adjourned,
break, I
yeah.
guess?
Yeah.